Hello, Jennifer McArdle here with McArdle Media. Our webinar will be starting now, and today's topic is branding for small business. We're going to talk about what branding is, what branding isn't, and hopefully give you sort of a landscape to understand this topic a little more broadly and what you can do with your brand as a small business. So let's jump right in. But first, I'd like to give a disclaimer. McArdle Media and this webinar are in no way sponsored, endorsed, or administered by or associated with Google, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Canva, or other businesses that may be mentioned during this webinar. These brands and their logos are registered trademarks of their individual entities, and this webinar is for educational purposes. So about me, my background is in business administration. I've been doing marketing off and on now for about 10 years in different capacities. I have different certifications and things that I keep up with on a regular basis, just so that I can stay on top of what's going on in the marketing world. And I'm also a member of different marketing associations, different chambers of commerce. That just allows me to have access to more people, and a lot of times more people in the marketing realm. So if people have questions that perhaps is outside of my specialty, a lot of what I do is digital marketing. If someone comes to me with a question about offline marketing, about direct mail, about those type of things, I have several people in my network that I can connect you with. So I think that's important to know, because if you need help with something and you think, oh, well, it's not digital, who do I ask? Feel free to ask me, because I can get you connected with people all across the marketing spectrum. And I'm located in Livonia, Michigan. That's in Metro Detroit. So that's this first little dot up here. But I work with clients all over the US. And with, even pre-COVID, I was able to connect with my clients online. A lot of what I do, I mean, it's digital. So being able to access these things online and deliver these services to clients digitally is a game changer and allows me to work with clients just about anywhere. So usually this is where I tell you about the company and who we are and what we do, but we're in the middle of an exciting change right now. Some of the services and offerings that we had, we are no longer offering. And the changes ahead are that we're moving toward more of a training, teaching, coaching model. So instead of delivering the services for our clients, we are teaching clients how to do this on their own. So having lots of workshops, webinars, one-on-one training. So if someone has specific questions and they don't want to be in a group setting, they just want to have their questions answered one-on-one, to be able to walk through how a program works or how to do something, let's say through Facebook or on Canva. I offer those type of services where it's just a one-on-one session where we're answering what you are looking for specifically. But what hasn't changed is who we serve. And that's business to consumer businesses, small businesses, entrepreneurs, whether they've been in the game for a while or just starting, and solopreneurs, people who are just a one-stop shop, one person shop. And we offer a personal approach with hands-on support that's a little bit different than other agencies. So what we're here for today, reaching more people online, especially, but just reaching more people in general with our messaging. So how do we do that? Today, we're talking about branding for small businesses and how using your brand and discussing your brand in an appropriate way with your clients, potential clients, can help you get your message out there. And branding is quite complex. There's a lot that goes into it. And oftentimes we think of a brand, we think of very specific things. And we're going to go through some of that today. What is a brand? What is it not? A lot of the pieces that go together to form this beautiful puzzle of what branding is. So what branding is not, let's make that very clear from the get-go. Oftentimes when we talk about branding, people assume, oh, you mean my logo, you mean my tagline or my website, or, oh, branding, like I have business cards, I give out business cards. Branding is not just these things. All of these things fall into your brand and into your branding, But oftentimes when people think of a brand and branding, they go to those specific points, the specific parts. Oh, well, I have a logo. Should I just slap my logo on everything? Do you mean that if I have a product, I should put my logo on everything and that's branding? That is not branding. These are parts of your brand. Branding, oftentimes people think, oh, it's my marketing and my advertising. Oh, yeah, well, I run ads. I run an ad in the newspaper. I run ads online. I give out promotional products at expos and at different community events. Is that branding? Well, those are pieces within branding, but that's not branding itself. And oftentimes I'm surprised that people assume that branding is just for really large businesses. Well, I'm not the Coca-Colas of the world, so I don't really need to be branding, right? Like a branding, that's for bigger businesses. My business is just here, it's local, but it doesn't need to be branded, does it? Yes, it does. Branding is for every business. And that not just businesses, that could be for small organizations, that could be for nonprofits. Branding is a part of this bigger piece of trying to get your message out there, whether you are a small local business or the huge Coca-Colas of the world. So great. I understand what branding isn't, but what is branding? Here I've got a little graphic that shows a lot of different parts of what a brand has to offer. With your brand and with your messaging, what you want to do is you want to have growth. You want to have increased sales, but there's also a part of that where it's really making sure that your messaging is hitting the right customer and giving them the right portrayal of your business. Branding is about bringing awareness to people about your brand, keeping you top of mind, but also keeping you at the forefront of their mind, giving them this recall of when they see your brand out in the wild, out in the world, that they're remembering, oh, yeah, I remember that brand, or kind of giving them the reminder, oh yeah, I need dental services. This dentist is local. This is who I, would like to see. And having a great branding strategy is part of the success of your overall brand. Another infographic here, but just showing what all goes into a brand and into branding. So in the middle here, it says brand, and then starting from the top, identity. Who are you as a business? Advertising. That's generally paying for your message to be out there. So where are you advertising? Marketing, another form of getting your message out there. Advertising, a lot of times, is more, in my opinion, is more of the sales, driving the sales. Marketing is almost more of an awareness with some sales component in there as well. But then we look down at the bottom here, trust. This, I think, goes with identity. The more people know and understand your brand as a whole, the more they begin to trust you. And that could be learning more about your brand. That could be interactions that they've already had with your brand and building on that trust. And then the next two that we have here, strategy. Strategy, we throw that word around a lot. Strategy is basically, it's just a larger overall plan of what you plan to do. And in this case, with your brand, with your branding, with your messaging, getting out there what it is that you do to the right people in the right places at the right time. And value. And we're going to talk about this in two different ways here. Value as in what value, what benefits do you offer your clients and potential clients, but then also your values. What are your values? And oftentimes we see this, again, it's oftentimes on a large corporate website, they list their values. Well, that's great. Nobody cares unless you're living those values every day. So if you have values, you want to make sure that you're using those throughout your business, throughout your brand, and exemplifying that, and making sure that people are seeing the values, personifying that so that they understand who you are. And it's not just a list of words on a wall or a website. So breaking this down to the even smaller part. And when we think about branding, I think oftentimes we think of brand. What is brand? A brand is a name, term, design, symbol, or any other feature that distinguishes one seller's goods or services from those of other sellers from a customer's perspective. So this is oftentimes where I think we go mentally when we talk about brand. We're thinking of the logo. We're thinking of, the big sign out on front of our building. That's what we automatically go to. And that is part of your branding and your branding strategy. But that is, I don't want to say a small part because it's small in terms of there are lots of pieces here, but it's also it's a big part of if people are able to recognize your brand. So you're getting your messaging out there, you're letting people know who you are as a brand. Are they recognizing you? Are they seeing that and recognizing, oh, this symbol refers to this business? I've seen some businesses who have a couple of different logos, and some of that branding can be very confusing. If you're changing what your business, if you're kind of rebranding and you're going from logo A to logo B because you're transitioning to a new marketing and branding position, that's okay. But if you have multiple logos for your brand, that can be confusing. And so breaking that down to this smaller piece of understanding this is from your customer's perspective. So when we use logos, it's to help them with their recall of remembering your brand, recognizing your brand. And we need to focus on the customer. It's hard sometimes because when we're working in and on our business, we're working on some of the ins and outs and the more important things that go on during the day, but we forget about who we're targeting. And it really needs to be clear to the customer. A little more here. Brands are used in business, marketing, and advertising for recognition, again, that recall, and importantly, to create and store value as brand equity for the object identified to the benefit of the brand's customers, its owners and shareholders. Again, we're talking about customers here. So when we're thinking of an overall branding, it's about the customer. It's about how they are going to recognize and perceive the business. And again, a lot of the things that we think about with brand are these brand assets. So what do I mean by brand assets? Your logo, your tagline, your color palettes. I have a couple of businesses that I work with that they're coloring. When I'm scrolling through social media or I'm flipping through like a Chamber of Commerce magazine, as soon as I see their colors, I know that that's them. Their color palette is consistent across all of their marketing, all of their branding, all of their business. And so as soon as I see that color, before I even recognize the picture I'm looking at, I'm picking up that that's that company. Typography. A lot of people don't consider this unless you're in the design part of marketing and business. The different fonts that you use, the style of the fonts that you use. Iconography. So what are the visual images and symbols that you use? One comes to mind is Kroger. In the last couple of years, they have these, it's like usually on a blue background, and they have these characters, and it's in their print media. It's also on their commercials, these bubbly looking cartoon characters. As soon as you see that, you automatically think Kroger. And in fact, there's a brand that has very similar characters. And when I see them, I assume it's Kroger, and it's not. So the visual images and symbols that you use helps people to recall your business. Other brand assets are the photography that you use. So not stock images that you find online, but taking pictures in your specific facility. I have a client that I work with, a yoga studio, and right away when I see a photo, I can tell that's her studio. There's just something very light about her studio. It's very airy. When I see pictures, I automatically, before I read the words, before I recognize anything else, I recognize the photo. Graphics, again, these visual images, these designs, and then a style guide. What is a style guide? The style guide is something that you create, that you put into place, that lets people know, whether it's within your team or if you hire an outside agency, to let them know how you want to represent your business online, offline. It includes a lot of these brand assets, but it also includes things like the tone. How are you communicating? Are you a very serious brand? So perhaps you are a law firm. When we think of a law firm, we think they're a little more serious. They're a little more buttoned up, a little more formal. Um, but maybe you are a local plumber and your tone is very funny. Maybe you're comical. Maybe you see the comedy in your business. You can see that there's a funny side to what you do. And that is something that goes into a style guide. And if you have questions about style guides, anything more in depth with that, we can talk about that in the future. I could talk about that for hours, but recognizing our time limit here, we'll go ahead and move forward. And so all of those pieces that we say aren't necessarily branding, but it's part of your whole branding. You can put all of those together in a very nice toolkit, if you will. A business that I use, a company, a software program that I use is called Canva. They have a brand kit. You know what? Let me just click on this and take you there. So within this program, you can put together pieces for your brand that match the colors, that have your logo, that have all of your proper contact information. This is something that sometimes businesses forget. If you have multiple phone numbers, multiple locations, making sure that people know how to reach you. And for an example, an auto body shop that's more for your collision type repair, and then a business that also owns a kind of an auto repair, and that's more for like your engines knocking, things sound funny. You've got these two different parts of your business, two different locations. If people are looking for, they've recently been in an accident, they're not looking for the people that can kind of fix their engine, change their spark plugs. They're looking for the collision business. And so if you have two different businesses under one umbrella, having your communication there, the way that the people can reach you, do they know which location to actually call? Or are we sending them on a spinning wheel of contacting multiple places before they get to where they're going? Making sure that you have all of that in one place. And so within this program, you can manage multiple brands, as I was saying. You have the two different businesses, but they're under one brand, but making sure that they each have their own pieces separate to them. And I also offer if you need like a quick start guide to having all of your branding assets kind of put together, on my website under resources, there is a branding toolkit that you can download for free. You don't have to give me an email address or anything. And it kind of just walks you through some of the basics of your brand, getting back to the very beginning. What's your tagline? What are your values? And kind of helping you walk through that process. Now, why does that matter? I know all of those things. I have my logo here. I know my tagline. I know my hours. Why do I need to have all of that organized and readily available? If I know all of that, it's to make it easy on yourself, for one. Consider projects that you might have, doing website work. If you have a business that you're going to be updating your website, you hire the website company that's going to build out your website, and they say, okay, we need to know the colors of your brand. Oh yeah, my colors are blue, red, and green. That doesn't help them. They need to know the actual color codes to match your branding colors. They're going to need to have a logo, and not just one that you copied from Facebook and gave to them, one that's actually in the right format, that hasn't been copied over and over again. They need to have these things in order to help you with creating a website. Same thing with email marketing, promotional products. If you go to have promotional products created, one company that I really recommend is Kelsey Promo. You go to them and say, well, I just need you to, put my logo on here and here's my colors. If you don't have that information readily available, you're going to be putting a lot more time on yourself to be digging for all of this information. So having it all readily available, it just saves you a lot of time and effort. So what does branding include? Brand reputation, and this is perceived by the customer. So you can throw a lot of money at marketing all day, but if customers come to you and they get a bad vibe or they have a bad experience, that sticks with them and that becomes part of your branding. And that's sort of outside of your control how they perceive you. But if we put our best foot forward and make sure that we're putting out the best that we can, then we are in control of that in that aspect. If we give them a great experience when they work with us, that boosts your brand reputation. People are going to talk about you. People are going to be communicating about your business online. They're going to tell their friends. So your brand reputation, the way that you are, as the business outside, putting forward, that matters. And that's not just something that you can slap a logo onto something. That's something that happens internally in the business. Branding includes customer service. So if someone comes to you with a question, with a concern, with a complaint, the way that you handle that is also part of your branding, because it's how they are, and I'm going to use these next words, experiencing your business, how they're interacting with you. That is also part of your branding. So the customer experience, what is it like for them when they first come to your business, whether they walk into a physical business, whether they visit you online? What is it that they're experiencing? That is part of the brand. Do they feel welcome, whether in person or online? Do they feel like they're getting the information that they need, whether in person or online? And then customer expectations. They have an expectation of the service they're going to receive from you, the products or services they're going to receive from you. And that is also part of the branding. Now, all of these pieces, they're not something that's very concrete. It's not a logo slapped on a pen, right? This is more internal in your business, how you are representing yourself to customers. And again, if you'll see here, customer, 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 it's all about the customer. So forget the part of my branding is all about my logo and this thing that I am putting out there. It's about how your customer is perceiving all of that in many different ways. Do they trust you as a business? For some people, they need to work with you before they can build that trust. For others, if they see what you're putting out in the community, what they see what you're doing, that can help them build trust as well. Communication. How are you communicating with current customers? How are you communicating with potential customers? That could be in terms of your marketing. Relationship. What is it that you're doing to build relationships with, and I'm going to jump down here at the bottom, with past, present, and future customers? What are you doing to build that? What benefits do you offer? Aside from just, well, I offer this product, this service, what are the benefits that someone's receiving? So let's say you are a dentist. You're not just offering dental care, you're offering better health. You're offering oftentimes pain relief. You're offering even longevity of life when it comes to dental care. So it's not just, I offer dental cleaning, I offer root canals. It's more than that. If you are a dentist, that there's a dentist in town, Dr. Lipnick's office here in Livonia, if you're local. They are very focused on relationships. And that is a benefit in itself, knowing that when I come in, it's that Cheers logo where everybody knows your name. You come into their office, they know you. They know your dental situation, but they know about your family and things as well. And if that is a benefit, something that you're looking for, that's something that they offer that other dentists in the area might not offer. Loyalty. Are you loyal to your customer and are they loyal to you? Recognition. Again, that recall of, are they going to remember you when they see a piece of advertising, if they see your brand in the community, are they going to recognize you? And again, your reputation. And I'll give a caveat to this. We'll get to that in a minute, but just remember that you can't please everyone, but you can only do your best to put your best foot out there, best foot forward. So realizing that when it comes to your branding, it's about your business, obviously, but it's about the customer and how they receive that. But brand management, what does that entail? Brand management is the application of marketing techniques to a specific product line, or brand. And that, again, that could be managing just the way that you're putting your marketing and advertising out there. It can also be the way that you're interacting with people who have had good experiences and the way you interact with people who have bad experiences. We're seeing that a lot now when we're talking about online reviews. Small businesses panic because they're worried about, well, what if I get a bad review? Well, let me let you know that it's not just a matter of if, it's a matter of when. People can either perceive that they received bad service from you, or they could just be having a bad day and they're taking that on you. But the way that we manage those bad interactions as well helps our brand overall in the way that people can see online. When people leave bad reviews, the way that you respond to that, other people see that, and that boosts your brand reputation. So yeah, that's again my little detour here. Sometimes you'll get a bad review. Sometimes you'll have someone complain. But what you can do is just do the best that you can, stick to your brand values, and be able to help people in the best way that you can. So again, the power of brand, it's more than just that logo that you slap on a pen or a t-shirt. It's a lot deeper than that. It is all those pieces are a part of it, but the branding is like the overall umbrella, the overall container that holds all of these pieces. And all of those pieces serve a purpose. When you're developing your strategy, you're developing your plan, it includes all of this. So branding done right, how can you do it and do it well? Being consistent. And that's with the branding assets, with your logo, with the name of your business, and making sure that it's cohesive across all platforms. And oftentimes when we refer to platforms, we're speaking digitally. So making sure that your brand is cohesive across all of your social media, that it's the same across your website. If I go to your website and then I go to your social media or receive an email marketing from you, they should all relatively have the same feel. Making sure that your marketing is cohesive, so that your marketing is in line with your brand and your advertising as well. And making sure that it clarifies the products and services that you offer. If I'm going to social media platform, if I'm going to your website, coming to your business, and I'm not entirely sure what you offer or the type of products that you have, that's when our branding is a little bit out of alignment. It should make sense to people within their first interaction with you, what it is that you offer. So a business that has done this very well is Dollar Shave Club. Even within their name, you kind of get an idea of who they are. When I hear dollar, I'm assuming the way they have it here probably doesn't cost very much. Shave, I'm assuming it's shaving products. And club, I'm assuming it's some type of membership that I have to sign up for. And across all of their platforms, this is consistent. Across their marketing, this is consistent. I know exactly right away what they offer and who they're offering it to. Now, branding done wrong, being inconsistent. And as I mentioned, brands that maybe have multiple logos that I didn't know where our actual logo was, so I just created something and plugged it in there. So now there's inconsistency across all of the platforms. If you are a business who has multiple names, so this could be a DBA perhaps, or you've changed names in the past. If I'm going to your website and it's very different than the email that you're sending me or your social media marketing or the mailer that you send me. It's very confusing for me to know who you are. Is this the same business? Are you a different business? Branding done wrong is where customers don't connect or they don't get it. There's conflicting messaging, or they just really don't know what it is that you offer, who you offer to. We're again out of alignment, not making a lot of sense. And this one, branding done wrong. Colgate some years ago decided that they were going to get into the frozen food products product line. Now, when you think of Colgate, immediately, if I just cover up the food here, when I see Colgate, immediately I'm thinking oral health. I'm thinking toothpaste. Colgate decides, hey, we're going to start offering food. When I look at this picture, I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if this food tastes like the mint of the toothpaste that I'm, using. This is branding done wrong, where the products just don't line up. Now, larger companies, Procter and Gamble, they have product lines where they offer very different things, but they advertise those and brand those in a very distinct way. Each of those has their own brand. Colgate, on the other hand, to slap the Colgate logo onto a food product, just, I don't know, just seeing this picture makes my mouth very uncomfortable. This is not clear. The customer doesn't get it. They don't understand, well, Colgate is my toothpaste company. Now they're in this product line. I think if Colgate maybe would have used a different branding strategy, a different marketing strategy, this could have worked for them potentially. But slapping the name of your toothpaste company onto a food brand doesn't work. So why? Why do we have to think about this? Bad branding leads to less brand visibility and recall. Again, people being able to remember your business. And that's making your marketing and advertising efforts yield a poor ROI. So let's unpack that for a moment. What does that mean? If, for an example, we'll just go real far out there. You have a brick and mortar business and people walk in and your employees are grumpy and they don't want to help anybody. Now, I know that's far-fetched and that's really out there, but consider you've probably experienced some businesses that feel like that. When you walk in, it feels like nobody wants to help you. No matter how many marketing and advertising dollars I throw at that, when people come in and they have a poor experience, they're not going to buy with you. They're not going to work with you. So you can throw a ton of marketing, but if that first interaction they have is poor, they're going to leave. So all that money you've basically just thrown out the window. If you are marketing your business and that you offer X, Y, and Z product, but then when they arrive, you're only offering A, B, and C products, kind of a bait and switch sort of thing, if you will. And again, these are extreme examples, but what I'm trying to show here is that you can throw a lot of marketing dollars at things, but if some of your foundations aren't there, it's going to be a waste of money. And so if your branding is done wrong, if it's unclear who you are, who you serve, and someone comes in because they've seen an advertisement or marketing that you've paid for, you've lost that money. You've lost them as a customer, but then you've also lost the money that you've thrown at that advertising. So does a small business need to have branding? Yes. Yes. I hope if anything that you've gleaned from this is that yes, every business benefits from having branding. So who is this for? This is for everyone. This is all businesses, not just large national brands. Even the little kid that pops up their lemonade stand on the corner of the street, the way that they brand themselves, the way that they put themselves out there, that's important to how people are going to perceive them. Another why, it's easier to sell your brand and your brand story when you know it, when you are internalizing it, when you and your employees, your staff, when everyone is on the same page. Let's say you're an insurance company and your main focus right now is life insurance policies, but someone else is really, pushing auto policies, someone else is pushing home policies, but you're overall really wanting to protect people out of not just in their homes and auto, but at a bigger um, in a bigger way, life insurance is what you are pushing. But if the other people in your office don't know that, if they don't understand the importance of life insurance, of how that protects the entire family, they may not be pushing that. So if you're not all on the same page, um, you're missing opportunity, but then you're also, it's not as easy for the entire business to be able to be on the same page to sell that the products and services that help people. It's easier for consumers to understand and know you when you understand and know yourself. And it helps people to remember you and keeps you top of mind. That's really what this all comes down to, is keeping you top of mind, keeping people coming to you and referring to you as the solution to their needs and problems. So what can you do? Start from the beginning. Start here, start today. Maybe you're a business that's been in business for years and you say, well, I have all of these things. Well, that's perfect. Gather them all together. Think about, what is your mission? What is your vision? What are your values? I know that seems like, oh, that's high level. How does that really help my customer? But when you kind of get back to, you know what, let me show you this. When you remember your why, remember why you're in business, what it is that you are there to do. Kind of getting back to that why helps you start from that beginning place of, okay, I'm not just here to sell insurance. I'm here to protect people, protect their families, protect their lives, protect them going forward in the event that something happens. Getting that all on paper, remembering your why, going through the entire branding process helps you to have not only all those things together, but helps you in the way that you are going to communicate why it's important for them to need your products and services. So start from the beginning, even if you have all of that in place. If you don't have all of that in place, if you're just starting out, starting from the beginning, have I considered what my vision is, not just for my business, but for my customers? What is it that I want them to gain from what I offer? And this can be as simple as doing a branding audit, a branding inventory. And as I mentioned earlier, let me just type in website here. If you go to McArdleMedia.com and you go to resources, I have a free branding inventory worksheet that can help you sort of walk through some of these things. Again, it's free. You don't even have to give me your email address. You just click on it and you get this instant download. It helps you just to kind of take all of that and put it on paper to help you better visualize it, but then also help you with future marketing endeavors. So let's jump back in here. We're almost at the end. I appreciate you for sticking through this. So a moment to reflect. It's a lot of information. It might have gone deeper than you expected or not as deep as you expected, but is there anything that you could glean from this to not only help your brand, but to help your customers, your current customers, your future customers, even your past customers? Is there anything that you can take from this to help you, make sure that they're getting the message that they need to know that you are there to offer a solution to whatever it is, that whether it's a problem, whether it's something that they're struggling with. So take this moment to sort of reflect, if anything. If you didn't like my presentation, reflect on what you didn't like about it, but just reflect in the moment. If what is it that you can do? If you have any questions, if you would please drop them in the Q&A or in the chat box, and I'll take a look at those. So just real briefly, when it comes to social media, when it comes to marketing, anything for a small business, you put this in Google and you go down the rabbit hole. There's so much information out there, but what makes sense for your business? What makes sense for a small business, a local business? It could be different than what you're seeing online. So we have created the Simple Savvy marketing system to break this down and to help you create your unique brand marketing experience. And as I mentioned before, we've kind of changed in McArdle Media, the path that we're taking, and we're really trying to work with folks to help them learn more about marketing, more about branding, more about how to get their business out there and in front of people. So we have some upcoming webinars, we have workshops, we have one-on-one sessions where we can just talk one-on-one. We can walk through a program, walk through something that you're struggling with or that you have questions about. I'm the first person to jump on YouTube. If I have a question about something, I'll jump onto YouTube. But oftentimes I get there, I play through the video and I think, wait a minute, they're saying to click on the blue button at the top. I don't have a blue button at the top. Then you get stuck and you have no one to ask. This one-on-one that we offer gives you the opportunity to, if you get stuck, to be able to ask those questions. If you want to know more, we have upcoming webinars. So we have word of mouth, why reviews and testimonials matter for your business. And then to kind of round out the year, we have Facebook and Instagram Tools 101 and digital marketing as customer service. So let me take a look. Okay. So here is my contact information. If you want to set up time to just talk, a free consultation is something that I definitely am happy to offer. If you want to take that farther and have a one-on-one session, let's jump into that free consultation first to see what we could possibly, answer any questions up front. And if we need to take a deeper dive, my contact information is here, Jennifer@McArdleMedia.com, and phone number 734-237-7593. Usually email is the best way to reach me, but whichever you prefer, information is out there. Again, we have upcoming webinars. You can have a free consultation, and the best way to reach me is by email here. So I thank you for your time. I hope this was helpful. If you have more questions about branding strategy, about some of the nuts and bolts or the bigger picture, I'm definitely here to help. So thank you again so much for attending, and we'll hopefully catch you in the next webinar.